Life Unrehearsed, brought to you by Leanna Senior Transition Support, specialists in downsizing and seniors residences.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Life Unrehearsed. My name is Matt Del Vecchio, specializing in life transitions, downsizing in the senior living industry.
And I'm Corey Sirota, clinical social worker and psychotherapist, specializing in grief and loss.
Coming right up on the first half of today's show, what started as a Facebook page supporting local restaurants has morphed into a whole community of more than 10,000 strong. We're going to hear this great story, and that's going to come up on the first half. But first, Corey, we have a new co-sponsor. So first of all, our outgoing co-sponsor is Claire Webster, the owner of Caregiver Crosswalk. We want to thank her very much for all her loyalty and her sponsorship. And we want to give a great big welcome to our new co-sponsor, Flora Lee Seniors Residences. Wonderful residences, one in Lachine and one in LaSalle. They offer a full continuum of care. Very, very proud to have them on board. And many thanks to Joanne and their entire team for all their support in sponsoring Life Unrehearsed, Corey.
I echo your sentiments. It is so heartwarming and so appreciative that we have people supporting us so we can do the stuff we love to do and get this information out to the community. So thank you so much, Flora Lee.
Thank you. And what do we have coming up on the second half, Corey?
Okay, folks. We have just surpassed the 1 year living in this pandemic experience. So I want to know, how's your mental health? We're going to talk with social worker Yasmin Sikender. She's going to explain why we feel the way we do, and more importantly, what we can do about it. That's coming up after the 3:30 news.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. You know, it's as we see sort of this light at the end of the tunnel, it seems to be getting tougher and tougher as the days go on. So it's going to be quite interesting. All right. In an effort to help promote some West Island restaurants, there's a group of West Island residents that decided to create a Facebook page, West Island Restaurants. Little did they know, not only did the Facebook page literally save some restaurants, which it did, but it also morphed into a community of supportive initiatives to help supply food for hungry children and so much more. They've surpassed 10,000 members, and we have two of their creators, Corey Swarsock and Scott Binns, on the line to tell us more about this journey. Welcome to Life Unrehearsed, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Well, thanks for coming on board. Such a great story. So we have to begin. Now, how did the idea of starting this page develop?
So basically, it's actually tomorrow will be our 3-month anniversary, I just discovered. And I think one night I was just sitting around. I was on Facebook, and I saw there was a post about food on Facebook, and I noticed Danny Azule, who started this with us, had made a comment. And I knew him, and I was just interested in his comment, and I just messaged him. And we just had a back and forth, and the idea just kind of came to life from there. We thought, what if we had a Facebook group where we, shared restaurants we like and see what happens? And that's basically how it started. Danny set up the page, or the group rather. He made a post, and it just kind of took off from there.
So did you guys know each other before you started this?
So Danny and I Danny and I were acquaintances. We had played softball years ago. We knew each other. There's 4 of us who started, so Scott being one of them, and then Chelsea Cleary, the 4th person. And Scott, Chelsea, and myself were all involved in another Facebook group for floods in the West Island a few years ago. So we had worked together there. We did some volunteer work there. And so Danny and I kind of got it started, and then I turned to Chelsea and Scott because they were kind of pros in this industry, and that's how we got it.
Corey, I think I said to you when I saw it go up after our experience with the floods, I said, "There's no chance you're doing this without me." So I just volunteered myself.
Great.
That's right. And Scott, when we were younger, taught me how to do the Running Man, so I owe a lot to him. And so we brought him on board.
I did blow up his dance floor at his bar mitzvah. It was glorious.
Exactly.
Well, those voices are Corey and Scott, two of the creators of West Island Restaurants. Wonderful initiative to support local restaurants that's just morphed into some wonderful things which we're going to hear about. And yeah, Scott, we're going to turn it over to you because it's amazing. I can't believe I just heard only 3 months, and it has grown so quickly. Tell us about this growth.
the growth it is kind of amazing in that, like Corey said, December 28th was the first day something was thrown up there, and it just spiraled into what it is. And 3 months later, we're at 10,500 people.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And growing strong, still.
Yeah, and growing strong, and it's scaling at a high pace. And I guess when you morph into these other things, like you mentioned in your intro, it's there's just 4 of us, and now these great other initiatives, and I guess we're leveraging this group to do better for the community as a whole. And the restaurants and owners are jumping in, and as is the community. So it's fantastic to see.
It really is. And I saw it, I guess also. I was one of the 10,500 and it was very interesting to me. And I'm not going to lie, I've been trying to win one of these contests, but I haven't been successful. But can you speak about that initiative as well? That little piece about the giveaways?
Yeah, for sure. So first thing, zero monetization, because that's not what we're about. That's not the spirit of it. So without monetizing, sans monetization. Basically, we leverage our network. We call up the owners we knew, and it was kind of ad hoc, and we just asked them, would you like to give something away to the community? It could help you, because this really is about promoting restaurants and helping them during this unprecedented time. And I guess what happened there was it took off, and it got a bit crazy, because at first we were doing ad hoc, and now we've really formalized it where we have restaurants commit to certain amounts of giveaways in advance so we could schedule it out. And we have events called Slingshot Saturday. We have a trivia night, which is actually hosted by one of your people on CJAD, who's now one of our people, Dan Laxer, so that's fantastic. And it's also how we scale. It's like, say something about this restaurant, why you love it, and tag a person you'd love to eat that specific meal with. And that's how you scale and bring more buzz to the page, more engagement, because that's really what it's about. And then more restaurants, more promotion, and more business for the owners, and everybody wins.
Everybody does win. Absolutely. That's the voice of Scott Binns. He's on the line with Corey Swarzak, and they're two of the creators of this wonderful Facebook page called West Island Restaurants, and it has grown. You're hearing some of the initiatives that they're already doing. One of those initiatives is called, I guess it's a Sandwich Crew program. I love this. Can you explain what that is, Corey?
Yeah, so the Sandwich Crew was actually started by my father-in-law. Mark Laxer, who's going to kill me for mentioning his name on the radio, who is Dan Laxer's father. And so he's been, giving back to the community forever. And the concept was he basically decided he wanted to, he saw there's a lot of people, especially today, living in the streets. People are homeless. And so he rallied a few people together who made sandwiches. And then he would take these sandwiches and bring them downtown and hand them out to people in need. And so we knew he was doing this, and we just thought there has to be, so many of us members and the admins, and, we're enjoying this, great food from these great restaurants, and yet there's a lot of people who don't have this luxury, right? And so we just figured we have all these members, we can give back in another way. And so we put a post out just to see what the interest would be, and it was unreal how many people responded. And so Kelly Arfin has kind of taken point on this. So we have like the Sandwich Crew West Island, and every week we have at least 10 people who are preparing 25 sandwiches or even meals at this point. And then we hand it off to Mark and his team, and they're distributing it downtown and or even in the West Island now. We've been working with some people here to get people in need in the West Island, but that's kind of how it came to life, and it just continues to roll on. These people just want to keep helping, and it's kind of grown into something that could last, a very long time.
Well, yeah, that's Corey Swarzak from West Island Restaurants, along with Scott Binns, who we are talking to about some incredible initiatives of this West Island Restaurant Facebook page that blew up, but in all the most wonderful, wonderful ways. And one of the other things, you mentioned Dan Laxer from CJAD, our own CJAD, our own Dan Laxer. And also you have Virgin Radio's Adam Greenberg involved. How are these guys involved again?
So Dan, we decided we wanted to do a fun trivia thing game on Saturday nights because we really have nothing else to do, right? So we're like, why not? Let's have some fun. Let's have games. And this is a way to promote restaurants in a different way. And then we thought of like, who is, the king of trivia in Montreal? We thought of Dan Laxer. So we asked him to jump on board. Of course, he was more than happy to. So that's how he came on board. Adam, someone who, myself and even Scott, I believe, someone we're friends with, we know through the community. Obviously, he's a great personality, super nice guy. So we wanted to do something where the members could get to know the owners of these restaurants. They're not just a business, right? These are owners who have families, who have, bills to pay like the rest of us, and times are tough. And we just thought it'd be so nice to connect our, the members with the owners, get to know them. And so we just, we thought of Adam as someone who could help make that connection. And so we started putting together these videos where they're short, 10-minute interviews that we post in our group. And it just, it's the faces behind the food, we call it. And it's just for that reason. And Adam's done a great job, bringing out these stories about all these owners.
Adam has done a good job. I've seen a couple of those, and that's right in his wheelhouse. So I think that's a good coup for you guys to get Adam. And of course, we love Dan. He has his show with Ken Connors every Sunday doing the trivia. So I think it's a natural fit for Dan. Love to hear that his dad's also involved. Now, we want to ask you about Facebook and social media in general. This is all a feel-good story, but some keyboard warriors are out there and they're increasing, and it can get pretty ugly online, and even particularly for restaurants. You get some negative comments and it could destroy a restaurant literally. And so you guys are doing a really good job managing all that with your policy. So we're going to want to hear a little bit more.
Life Unrehearsed, brought to you by Leanna Senior Transition Support, specialists in downsizing and seniors residence.
You guys do not have it easy. This is a phenomenal initiative, yet there are these people, as I learned the new term, keyboard warriors, who just would love to say nothing else but negative things. How do you guys manage that?
That's a great question. They're all great questions. And, Matt touched on something right before break. By the way, I have to say, great to hear Mitsumi Takahashi's voice during that break. Grew up with her, or grew up listening to her. One thing, and it's the one thing we fight with, or not fight with, that's a bad choice of words, not fight with, one thing we deal with as a team is we chose to stay away from negative comments within our group. And the reason is because we're about promoting the restaurants, and that was the spirit of the page. It's not a food critic page, and we need to make that clear. We believe there's other pages and other groups for that to go and provide your food critique. We're about promoting, so we really try to stay away from the negative comments. And, I saw a meme, and it's a popular meme out there on Facebook right now, in that McDonald's can make 100 mistakes, and you'll go back. But if you take a small restaurant and they make one mistake, like you said before, Matt, it's going to cause trouble, and it can ruin that one restaurant. That's really why we stay away from it. And the truth is, you have a choice. I learned something during the West Island floods, along with Corey, is that even if your heart's in the right place, and even if you're doing something, there's always going to be haters, there's always going to be trolls, and like you said, there's going to be the Facebook warriors, or the keyboard warriors. And they're really a small percentage of the community. So you could waste your time with them, or you could focus on the people that appreciate what you're doing and make it even a better experience for them. So we choose to kill the haters off with kindness. Mm-hmm. We will engage, but only in a positive manner, definitely not in a negative manner. And at the end of the day, if they don't like our policy and standards, it's really a bye-bye. We'll remove them from the group, and that's it.
That's Scott Binns, and he's on the line with Corey Swarzak and the creators, two of the creators of this West Island Restaurants incredible Facebook page. And I think that's part of the reason you've been around 3 months, over 10,000 followers, just incredible. I think one of the reasons, I know for me personally, why I like going to the page is because we're so accustomed now to see there's going to be some negative on almost every group page, and on your page you do a great job of managing that, but it is still so popular. What are the other reasons for its popularity?
So, this is when we launched it, obviously it was to promote restaurants, and, quickly it became a platform for, residents, people in the West Island to learn about new restaurants and try new restaurants. What we discovered, we feel, what we did was we found the commonality, something that everybody loves, and that's food. And we're in a time right now where, people are asked to stay away from one another. And so this is really an outlet for people to socialize and connect over something that we all love. And so what we've noticed, the engagement is so high, we think not only because people love food and want to discover new things, but they just want to connect with other people. And so we see like lots of engagement, lots of communication, discussions between people, which is why it was so important for us to keep it positive. And, we're not, to your last question, against reviews. I always tell people, feel free to go to other pages to see reviews. You can go to Google reviews or Facebook page, whatever you want. But we just wanted a positive place. And that's part of why we believe it's successful. It's positive. People are connecting and over a topic that everyone loves. And the truth is, so much of the extracurricular stuff, the hobbies, so much of what we do on our free time is taken away from us. Food is one thing that is not, right? Mm-hmm. So we believe that people are using this as entertainment, right? What else are you going to do Friday night or Saturday night or during the week? We want to do something fun. We're going to order food. And that's really what this has become.
Yeah.
So I've been a follower since the beginning, and I have actually benefited from testing out all new restaurants, which is a total perk for me, for everybody that to have that opportunity to really maybe try out a kind of food that you never would, or certainly learn about different restaurants. There's a lot of unique ways that the restaurants have been adapting to the pandemic, and I think you've been highlighting that as well. Could you make a comment about that as well, please?
Yeah, there's definitely been a shift, and you have to be smart in the way you adapt to different situations. You got to be quick on your feet. We've definitely seen the restaurants take that approach. Even connecting, remember, as much as it's about food, like Corey said, it's really about community. So Cunningham's Pub, they provide live music once a week via their social media to keep connecting with their customers.
That's great. I watched it last night, by the way. It was fantastic.
That guy's great.
He is.
Fantastic. For sure. We've definitely seen an increase in the use of delivery platforms such as Uber Eats and DoorDash. And what restaurants are doing is they're embracing the ghost kitchen concept. And I'll give you an example, like Del Frisco's, for those well-known restaurant in the West Island. They have their menu, and you could still order from them, but they decided to do a brand, and the brand is a Sub Shops, which is like a submarines and burgers, and then Prasino's, which is soups and salad. Two separate brands, but you could only get them through the Uber app on delivery or through a DoorDash like that. I think you can pick it up, but they're really trying to branch out and come up with different ideas and leverage that delivery platform. Then there's other restaurants who you don't even know it's attached. Like there's Big Daddy's Wings. You're not quite sure what restaurant they're attached to, but it's just a brand that they put out on those delivery platforms so people could order directly. And then there's also the family style approach that I've seen. There's restaurants out there who are, because of the tough times, they're putting together family packages. They're cheaper, and it's really that family large meal for everybody at a dinner table to share together. That's one other approach. And then I think the last thing really is they had to be creative to make sure on the delivery that the food stays hot. So there's new equipment out there to make sure that all gets to you nice and hot. That's what we've seen so far.
It's been amazing, the creativity, both from a food perspective and also, like you say, packaging and delivery. They've all upped their game, and those that have had to do it. Now, we're running out of time real quick, but we'd be remiss. We have to talk about this new initiative that you've got going on in April called Feed Our Future. I love this. Can you explain what that's all about, Corey?
Yeah, so this is my favorite, and I think for a lot of us is really special. And again, it was like, how could we give back in other ways? And so we thought, we're supporting restaurants. And I was one day speaking to Richard Tate from Bistro Nola, which is delicious, by the way. And he, we were just talking about, how could we provide meals to people in need. And I've been working in, with schools through my business for many years, and I have a lot of contacts there. Anyways, the idea was for restaurants to put together lunches and then have them distributed to schools for children who are going to school without lunch. And what we discovered, I called some people I knew at the school board, at Lester B. Pearson School Board, and it's shocking how many kids in the West Island go to school without lunch every day. There are schools up to 40, 50 kids a day not going to school with lunch. And so the school board had a program in place, but they're using funds to do this. And so what we did was set up with the school board a schedule where a couple times in a month, a restaurant will put together a meal, individually packaged so it's safe, and then we have a delivery system where it'll be sent to the school. Now these kids are going to be eating from Bistro Nola and Del Frisco and Rockaberries and all kinds of great restaurants. And that's really and our goal is to keep this going. So we want to get more restaurants involved so it can run year round.
Well, thank you so much, Corey and Scott from West Island Restaurants. They are the creators of the Facebook page. Corey Sortzak and Scott Binns. Please check out the page. You won't believe what you will learn. And thanks so much, guys,
thanks
for
coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Corey and Matt, thank you so much for having us. And also, just a last shout-out to Danny Azulay and Chelsea Cleary as forming part of our team. It's an awesome team, and we're lucky.
Yes. And they deserve it. Thanks, Danny and Chelsea. All right, Corey, what do we have coming up on the second half?
It's a year into the pandemic. How is your mental health? Social worker Yasmin Sikender is going to explain why we're feeling the way we do and, more importantly, what we can do about it. That's coming up.
Life Unrehearsed, brought to you by Leanna Senior Transition Support, specialists in downsizing and seniors residences.